Greeting of the day. This is again Muhammad Shakir Ibrahimi, lecturer of Principles of Management. Today we have second lecture of Principles of Management that we have. So the first thing we discussed in the last session, to go back our last lectures, so we discussed about the management, scope of management, and then characteristics of management. So what are the different characteristics it have, what are the main three scopes of management we have. In today's session, that you will get to know, or you will get to learn that objective of this session is the difference between management and administration, who is a manager, the second topic, and then role of manager. So the outline, that the same thing we discuss under the rule will have three more things in terms of personal rules, informational rules, and decisional rules. So if you see that we discussed in the last session that what is management, right? So when we define that management is a process of planning, organizing, leading, controlling of business activity to achieve the organizational goals, right? So the controlling of the activities to achieve the organizational goals. So that is what management we have. Where if you see that we are normally using these three different broad terms, that management, administration, and organization. So what is the difference between these three terms that we have? Management is concerned with the planning, organizing, leading, right? Where organization is narrow as compared to the management. So we cannot say it is not we have a narrow system that organization is having. So that is the difference between organization and management. We are coming to administrative and management. So the very first definitions that we have according to the meaning, management's meaning, the getting work done through and with others. So we say that management is planning, organizing, leading, controlling. So that is what the leading of what? That is the controlling of what? So we have to plan, we have to organize, we have to lead, we have to control the activities. So that when you do this, you will achieve the organizational goals. Where administrative is concerned with the formulation of objective, plans, and policy of the organizations. So if you say the administration's part, that is more concerned about vision of the organization, they have to formulate the mission of the organization, they have to formulate the organizational objectives, they have to make it the organizational goals, they have to define. So this is the duties of top level of management that we have under this category, right? So that is what management and administration, the very first difference according to the meaning. The second difference is according to the nature of work, that management refers the execution of goods, the execution of decision, and it is doing a function. So management is concerned only with the function, that is plan, organize, lead, and control. Where administrative is related to decision making, they have to make decision, they have to think, they have thinking functions, logical ability, reasoning ability to formulate those different things. That is the very concern with the top level of management. According to the decision making, that when we say that management is decide who shall implement this administrative decision, where administrative determine that what to be done and when to be done. Like we made vision, we made goals, we have to make mission. So for each one of them, we have a specific day, we have a specific period for it. So as a specific date, as a specific period, so that is what to be done, what you should do, and when it should be achieved. So I should, like suppose I am saying that I should be a top 200 university, 300 university among the world, in the world global market. My university should be top 200 categories. So that is what to be done. I should be a top 200 university. How to be done, or when to be done? After 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, I will be reaching at that point. So that is what. But how to be done, who should be implement, what are the different things they have to implement to achieve that, that will happening by the management of the organizations. According to the status of this, that management is concerned with the lower level of manager, and where administrative concerned with the top level of management, right? So that is what we have. And if you see that term of management is normally using in the business sector and the private sector, or business sections of private sector, where the others the terms which we are using, that is administrative concern with the government office, public sector, and then business organization which we have. So this is what the concern about the difference between management and administration. So if you think that we have management, so after management, which term will come to your mind? That is what managers, who will implement this by others. So that is what manager is a person who is responsible for planning, directing of the work of a group of individuals, monitoring their works and taking corrective action when necessary. A manager that reflects that he was responsible for it. So if you see that if you are discussing management in the part of management, they are concerned with what? They are concerned with the planning. So management need to plan, management need to direct, management need to lead. So that will be implemented by the manager of the organizations. So if we don't have manager, we cannot implement that. If we don't have managers, we cannot do that. So as a manager, we are responsible to direct him, to monitor and take corrective actions for the evaluation. So if your staff, if your employees are working in the proper way, so it means that we are concerned with the motivations, we are concerned with the outcome, because they are working according to deadline, they are working according to our own strategies. But if these people are not working in the proper way, we have to provide him training, we have to give him warning, and in case if again it is not possible, we need to fire him. So these are the different things we have. Suppose there are given different example that accounting manager or supervisors are responsible for accounting functions. So what is the accounting functions we have? That is what they have to maintain record, right? They have to protect the business property, they have to implement the legal requirement, and then they have to communicate the business transaction, the communication of the result, the business result, the operation of that. So that is what the function of a accounting manager. Production manager responsible for the plant of the factory, for the layout, production layout of the company, for designing of the products, for the quality control of that product. So they have to make a different plan for the staff, right? So in the factory, and the designing managers are responsible for the supervising engineers and then supporting their staff engaged in designing of products or services. Finance managers are responsible for the raising of fund and then increase in the profit, allocation of money. So these are the concern of finance manager. Marketing managers are responsible for the selling, for the marketing of that product which we have. So now that is the manager. We define that what is manager and how it is different between the different roles of manager, right? So we had discussed these different things, that this is manager, and then what is the role of a manager which we have. The very first, if you see, according to 1960s late, they have determined into three main heading the role of manager, and that is by Henry Mansbrook, which is defined. That very first one is interpersonal role. So interpersonal rules are that all managers are required to perform their jobs and duties, but the criminal and symbolic in nature. So we are concerned with the symbolic in nature. So what we have to do? We should have the very first rule and interpersonal rules, that is figurehead rule. Figurehead rules is the welcoming of your staff, your organizational members in your company. So you have to make them welcome, you have to tell them welcome to the organizations, and then you are concerned with the movement. So that is what the very first rule, that each and every member of the organizations need to provide orientation, need to provide, celebrate the wedding parties, they have to participate in the wedding party of their staff, and they have to participate in the celebration of birthday and other parties which we have. They have to be part of them. And then leadership rules. In the leadership roles, we have to provide hire someone, we should fire someone, we should provide them training, we have to motivate them, we have to appraise them, we have to provide good compensation to them, we have to deal with the different other process which is belong to the leadership. That is what the under interpersonal rules that we have. And the next one is relation rule. Relation rule is the rule which is connecting the relation between the two organizations. So we are connecting, we are concerned between two organizations. So that is why we have, that is the relation rule, to know, to see, to check your companies and to see and check it, or reviewing other company what they will do. That is what under the interpersonal rules we have. The next rule is informational rules. Under the informational rules, that managers are responsible to collect informations, right, and to distribute informations and act from the organization perspective, or talk from the organization perspective with others. The very first rule under this is monetary rules. Monetary rules is nothing, it is the collecting of the informations from outside of the organization. So legend rule is the responsible the relation of two companies, checking of two companies status, and then reviewing their feedback. Where monitoring is the relation of these two companies, which you have to monitor what is going on in the company, in the market, in the society. Like, we have to collect information from the newspaper, we have to read out daily newspapers, you have to read out daily magazines, you have to deal out like research paper which is there. So that is part of monetary rules. Disseminator rules are those rules which is distributing of the information to the inside of the organization who is inaccessible to that. So you collect the information from outside. Now what happened, you have to make them, you have to distribute that information which you collect from outside, and need to discuss with the inside of the organizations and the inside of your staff of the company. So that is what the disseminator rule of the managers, which is under the informational rules which we have. And then we have the next rule is spokesperson rule. Spokesperson rule is what you have to talk, you have to speak, you have to participate on behalf of your company in each and every events, seminars, different programs, right? So that is what spokesperson. Spokesperson is nothing, he is representing the company to others in any other program, any parties, any seminars, any events which is happening or arranging somewhere. That is what the spokesperson is. And then is coming to decisional rule. Decision is concerned with the decision. So the very first one is entrepreneur rule, right? So entrepreneur rule is the rule which is concerned with the inside of the organization. They are initiative, they are innovators, they are risk bearer, and they have to implement one work to others. So they have to provide, bring new ideas, they have to should have initiatives, they have to implement different strategy in their risk taker. So that is what the decision rule that they have under the first rule of indecision. The next one is distributor handle rule. Distributor handle rule is again concerned with the inside of the organization, which is the disturbance handle rules, and then we are concerned mostly with the companies. So which company? So if you see here in this part, these three functions are belong to company, and this last one, which four one, is belong to outside of the company. So under the distributor handle rule, so if there is any conflict, any grievance, any problem between the staff of the organization, we have to handle that, we have to solve it. So that is what the decision rule, that we have to make it a very smooth, proper, and task oriented, motivative environment, friendly environment between the staff. If you don't have, we cannot move ahead in the positive direction. And if we have a conflict, if we have a grievance between the staff of the organization. The next rule is that is a resource allocator rule. Resource allocator rule is nothing but it is the allocation of your resources, that how to use where you should use. Like in this part we can say that we have finance need for fund, so how to use that fund, from where you should get it, how you should get the raw materials that you have, how to handle the staff set which is organizing, so giving different tasks to different people at different places. So that is what the resource allocators rules, that we are concerned with the productions, that is concerned with the staffing, HR system, and then concerned with the finance system, that is fund rising of the organization. And the loss rule and loss session topic for the session is negotiator role. Negotiator rules are concerned mostly with outside of the organizations. So as a manager, so you need to know, you need to have, you need to learn, you should have this skills of negotiation, that how to negotiate with the people. So that is what concern that you have. If you are going to market, if you have concern with the task, so you should have the skills that you have to negotiate with the people. You should have the skills to talk with them. You have to convince them according to whatever you want to have it. So that is what the negotiation rules which you have. So now coming to the conclusion, we said that management is a generic term and including the administrations. Manager is person responsible for planning, directing the group of work of individual. Management plays the following three roles: interpersonal, informational, and decisional. So this is all for today's sessions. If you have any questions, query, you can ask it below my YouTube channel and as well as in my WhatsApp number. Thank you so much for your attentions. I hope you learn something and wish you all the best. Thank you so much.